Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this very comfortable, wet, and cool Sunday morning. Still morning, yeah? Let's get started with this 60-minute Pilates. So we'll get started in a seated position. My name is Felicia, and we've been doing Pilates for quite a few months, I would say. Hopefully, you have been enjoying the classes and that you've been benefiting, all right? So allow yourself to come into a seated position. I'm using blocks that is placed underneath my bum. If you don't have blocks, it's completely fine for you to take a seat directly onto the mat itself. But what you can do in order to allow yourself to lengthen your spine is to use your fingers to peel the flesh off your sit bones. Then see whether you can actually sit up a little taller. For me, I always love using blocks because that height itself allows me to create more space in my spine. I can actually sit a little taller, okay? So if you haven't tried using blocks or even substitutes like thick books or maybe even a very thick cushion, you're more than welcome to see whether this actually allows you to sit a lot taller. Then gently have your hands placed on your thighs, any part of your thighs. Just close your eyes. We're going to take the first few moments of every class that I start with I would say, the ability to cultivate that sense of feeling the present moment. So starting to allow your breath to come in through your nose. Then the exhale is through the mouth. Keep going like this. So if you're feeling rather relaxed and you feel that you need that spurt of energy, then please focus on that inhalation to create that sense of upliftedness, creating that sense of space, creating that sense of energy. But if you feel that your mind is all over the place and you want to calm yourself down this morning, then focus on the exhalation, making it slightly longer perhaps. So Pilates breath is in through the nose. The exhale is through the mouth. Every time you inhale, start to notice if you're breathing deeply in towards the bottom pits of your lungs instead of halfway through the chest. So it's not a very shallow breath. It's a deeper breath that you can actually feel the air moving and bloating the bottom parts of your ribs. Then as you exhale, exhale fully through your mouth. Now, in the next couple of breaths in and out, I'd like you to use your core, hold the side seams in towards the midline, so that when you breathe in, it is not your belly that moves forward and back, it is the chest that expands laterally to the side. So there is minimal movement here, but more movement in the side of your ribs, lateral movement through where your heart is. Wait for your next inhalation, both arms lifting up towards the sky. Then right hand grabbing onto left, side bending towards your right. I'm your mirror image, so my left hand is actually your right. So every time I face you in this direction, I'll be doing mirror image, so it's easier to follow. But if I'm facing towards the top of my mat, which is where I'm leaning to right now, to my left, your right, then of course I'll be doing the same arm and same leg as you. Now starting to notice if the top shoulder is collapsing down in order to activate this side bend. If you're collapsing down like what I'm doing, then move up again, level the shoulders, lift up, side bend. All right? Keep going like this, starting to notice that left rib just opening. As you breathe in next, both arms reaching up. Then as you exhale, take a twist this time to your left. So if you're seated on the block, the back hand can be on your lower back. If you're seated on the ground, your left hand can be pressing down towards the earth or the mat. Starting to lift through the spine with every inhale. Then you're going to spiral through the waistline, through the rib cage, through the shoulders, and maybe if it feels comfortable, looking past your left shoulder. So we always move the spine bone sequentially. Notice my cues was to rotate through the waist first, the ribs, the chest, the shoulders, then the head. Still sitting up tall, still breathing in through your nose. Please don't hold your breath. The next time you inhale, both arms reaching up. This time, left hand grabbing onto right wrist. Lengthen up first, side bending towards the left. Same concept here. If you're starting to collapse the top shoulder, there is no need to go super deep and collapse. I would rather you stay a little bit lifted and do a mini side bend in order for you to feel that stretch through that right waistline, the right rib cage, right armpit, even the right upper arm. Shoulder blades are melting away from your ears though. Breathe well. Top arm beside your ear. One more breath in here, both arms reaching up. Then take a twist to face right. Same thing. The back hand can be on the small of your spine. If you're seated on a block, a cushion. But if you're seated directly onto your mat, then go ahead. Have your fingers pressing in towards the earth. Lengthen the spine as you inhale, then spiraling through the chest as you exhale. So same thing, I cued the chest spiraling, but of course try to activate through the waistline first, then moving bone by bone upwards to see how much you can actually rotate. Looking past the right shoulder perhaps. As you inhale next, both arms all the way up. This time, interlace hands behind you. All 10 fingers pushing down towards the mat. Opening up through the heart. There's a tendency here for you to lift your chin. There is no need to. The movement is through your heart. So we are just making a very small back bend through your upper spine, not even through the lower spine. Just breathing here, just enjoying that openness through the chest. Friends who are fairly flexible, see whether you can touch the heels of your palms together. Then straighten your elbows to push the knuckles down. If you want a little bit more, you can always float the wrists or the palms off your lower back, pointing the knuckles towards the back of the room. Breathe well. That's it. Now wait for your inhale, both arms all the way up. This time, hands interlace behind the back of your skull. All right? I want you to take a bow. Allow the belly to just come in, then chin towards the chest. Allow the weight of your hands to weigh the head down. Feel that stretch through the entire back of the neck. As you breathe in next, sit up tall. Great work. So you should be feeling a fairly, I would say, warmed up in the joints. If you're not, then please make sure you move a lot slower today. All right? Now, take away the blocks if you have them. I'm going to be facing towards the top of my mat, which is in this direction. Now, all 10 fingers spread out wide. Stack your shoulders above your elbow stacked over the wrist. Then see whether you can actually root all 4 corners of your palm in towards the mat. Maybe even claw your finger pads into the mat, so you start to distribute the weight evenly right throughout the entire palm and your fingers. Knees underneath the hips. As you inhale, I want you to lead through the tailbone to arc the spine. So notice the last to arc or point up is actually the crown of my head. As I exhale, I'm going to tuck the tail under, bone by bone, squeezing the abs in, then chin towards your chest, crown of the head pointing down towards the mat. Inhale, lifting bone by bone. I call this the rippling spine. It almost feels like you're rippling the spine, like in a wave-like movement. So starting to notice that as you round the spine, you want to point the crown of the head down towards the mat. So you find that nice length through the back of the neck. Keep going like this. Now this is aimed at starting to warm those small little muscles that are quite close to the spine. So we are kind of allowing them to move bone by bone, starting from the tailbone. Keep going. Can you start to notice how when you arc the spine, you are pretty much lifting the chest instead of the chin. So don't overdo the lifting of the chin. Then as you exhale, you're pushing or pressing your palms into the mat to lift the heart away from the mat as much as you can. One more time here. Inhale, arcing the spine. Now as you arc the spine, curl your heel to your bum. Then as you exhale, press your toenails down onto the mat. Lift the knees 1 inch off the mat, if available. Round the spine. 2 more times. Knees down. Curl your heel to your bum. Look forward. That's it. Exhale, tailbone first. Then pressing your toenails down. Lifting the knees 1 inch off the mat as you round the spine. Last one here. Knees down. Curling the heel up towards your bum. Chin lifted slightly. Exhale. Last one. Press toenails down. Lift knees 1 inch off. Round the spine. Slowly drop the knees down. Push your bum back into child's pose. If your forehead cannot touch the mat, you're welcome to stack one palm over the other or one fist over the other. Just reaching your arms forward just slightly more, making this an active child's pose. Maybe lifting the heels of your palms and your elbows off the mat. Just starting to notice that length through the side of your arms as well. Take another breath in here. Then as you exhale, take yourself all the way up to a kneeling position. Rise up on your knees, sweep your arms all the way up. Then as you exhale, sweep hands back. This time, can we interlace the awkward side? Meaning, if it's always very usual that your left thumb is over the right, switch it. Make your right thumb come over the left thumb. Then interlace all the other fingers. Okay? Starting to open up through the heart. Same concept. There's a tendency to bloat the ribs like this. Alright? Can we hug the ribs in towards the midline? Just open up through the chest. So it's a very small back bend through the thoracic spine. Chin can be slightly lifted, but don't overdo it. Then friends who want to feel a little bit more, lift your fist off your bum. Breathe well. Again, if you can touch the heels of your palms together, go for it. If you cannot, there is no need to force. The next time you inhale, release your arms, reaching all the way up. Right hand grabbing onto left. Lengthen up first so the biceps are quite close towards the ears. Then side bend to the right. Hold it here. Starting to just open up the left rib cage a little bit more by using your right hand to pull your left wrist all the way towards the right. Feel that stretch through the armpits as well. One more breath here. One more breath out. As you inhale, both arms up. This time, cactus your arms, interlace all 10 fingers around the back of your skull. Now scoop the belly in first. Then allow the heart to come inwards, chin towards your chest. Allow the weight of your hands to weigh your head down. Once more, feeling the stretch through the back of the neck. We've done this before at the beginning, yes. As you breathe in next, reach both arms up, lengthen your spine. Then as you exhale, left hand grabbing onto right wrist, side bend to the left. So I was mentioning quite often in my previous videos that there is no wrong or right as to where you inhale or exhale in Pilates, but I'd like you to consider that if you hold your breath, that is considered as wrong breathing, okay? So no wrong inhales or exhale. The only wrong breath in that sense is when you hold your breath. Starting to fan open the right rib cage. Now as you inhale, arms up. Then as you exhale, shake it out. That's it. Now palms down in all fours position. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. This is your first partial inversion where your head is below the heart. Be mindful of how you feel at this point of time. If it doesn't feel too good for you to be in an inversion, then maybe slowly just bend your knees, come back down into tabletop and see whether you're ready to try again, alright? Friends who are comfortable in downward facing dog, you might want to walk the dog by lifting one heel at a time. Maybe even dropping both heels to the right, like what I'm doing, pressing into both palms, lifting the hips up high, then changing to the other side. So just moving intuitively to allow the body to soak in whatever sensations that might be coming up through the body. Now, slowly coming into a downward facing dog, pressing through your palms. Your heels does not need to touch the ground. In fact, since this is your first downward facing dog, keep your knees slightly bent so you can lengthen your spine. Okay? As you inhale, shift your weight forward into plank. If you need to wiggle your foot back or your palms forward to come into a proper plank, where your belly is in, your heart is away from the mat as much as you can, go ahead. Then as you exhale, back into downward facing dog. That's it. Now listen very, very carefully. As you shift forward, I'd like you to really stack your shoulders over your wrists. Then as you exhale, lift the hips up high, drop both heels to the right into a variation of downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward into plank position. Then as you exhale, lift the bum up high, drop both heels to your left in the other direction, variation of downward facing dog. Shift forward again into plank position. Then exhale, lift hips, drop heels to the right, downward facing dog. One more time, inhale, shift forward. Then exhale, lift hips high, heels towards the left side, downward facing dog. Come back towards the middle, knees down, untap toes, child's pose. As you inhale, rise up through your knees, sweep your arms up. Then as you exhale, twist towards the right. So right hand on the small of your spine, left hand wrapping onto the outer right hip, but my hips are not turning towards the right. It is still facing towards the top of the mat. I'm just rotating through my heart, my chest. If it feels good, starting to reach your right hand towards the back of the mat. Hold it there. Breathe. One more breath in here. One more breath out. Inhale again, reach a little further. Then as you exhale, both arms all the way up. Exhale, face towards your left, left hand on the small of your back, right fingers on the outer left thigh, almost as if you're using your right fingers to pull that left hip forward so your hips are squared towards the mat. Now the hand behind doesn't push your lower back such that you're bloating your ribs. You're still fairly stable. You're still lifting through the crown of the head. Just pressing your kneecaps down in towards the earth, so that two-way direction. Spiraling your chest towards your left, feel that stretch. If you like to, reaching left fingers to the back of the mat as you inhale. Hold it there, just feel. One more breath to reach a little further. One more breath out. The next time you inhale, both arms all the way up. Exhale, palms down onto the mat. This time, drop onto your forearms. Okay? Now, elbows underneath the hips, starting to arc the spine, look forward, exhale, scoop the belly in. That's it. So this is a arc and rounded spine with your forearms on towards the ground. Keep going. It's a great way to always warm up the body in a manner that allows you to feel a lot of, I would say, space in the body. Now, if you like to, starting to come into neutral spine on your forearms, puffing the shoulders. Now, starting to circle the hips in any direction, then switch in other way. So I'm going clockwise first, then anti-clockwise. Now, just be mindful that the back of the neck is still long. If you have the screen in front of you, try not to look forward like this. Can you notice that if I'm looking forward like this, the back of my neck is quite compressed? So maybe chin in towards the chest, eye gaze looking onto the ground, or maybe onto your kneecaps. Then creating bigger circles with your hips. If you can, try to see whether the circle can be so big that you drop your butt cheeks all the way back to your heels. One big circle, then shift the hips above the knees, change direction. Starting to notice how this feels like in the side of your thighs, your shoulders, the spine. Keep going, keep going. That's it. Now one more set, one right, one left, all right? Take your time. I'll meet all of you in downward facing dog. So press your palms down when you're ready. Tuck toes, lift hips up. Take your time, don't rush. Now in downward facing dog, bend your knees slightly, then walk your hands towards your feet. We're going to rise all the way up, bone by bone. So take your time, especially if you're low or high blood pressure. Stand up tall, shoulder roll all the way back. That's it. Breathe well. Now from here, I would like you to set your feet hip width apart. We're towards the back of the mat, facing to the top. All right? Inhale, sweep your arms up. Then as you exhale, right hand reaches towards your left, side bend towards the right. Same concept, don't bloat the ribs, using your hand to pull that left hand all the way towards your right. You can even dump your hips towards the left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, change sides. So a lot of side bending movement today. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit more openness, I would say, in the entire body. As you inhale, arms up. Then as you exhale, hands by the side. Take a breath in through your nose. Then as you exhale, chin towards chest. Soften the knees. Pilates roll down, something that is very common that we use in class. So just peeling the spine bones off the imaginary wall. Then slowly standing up, stacking lower spine, mid-spine, upper spine, back of the skull. Keep going like this. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, chin towards chest. Hug the belly in. Then peel one bone at a time. So we're always moving the bones, the spine bones, in a manner that creates that sense of being able to work those small little muscles around it. Keep going. Now you got one more time, all right? That's it. So your breath, so important. I like to squeeze the air out of my lungs as I bow forward. Then I keep breathing again. Don't hold your breath on the way down, especially if you're going slow. Then slowly stacking your spine up, bone by bone. Great work. Now I'm going to face towards you so that it's a little bit more visible and that I can cue according to mirror image, all right? You don't have to face me. You can still face towards the top of the mat. Feet hip-width apart, underneath the pelvic bones, which is the pointy bones here. As you inhale, lengthen and stand up a little taller. As you exhale, slight bend in your knees, point your fingers forward. Now look down. Can you see your toes? If you cannot see your toes, please shift the weight back. Again, I'm going to cue this only once, all right, in this class. Whenever you come down to a squat, there will most likely be a really big arc in the lower spine. Can you just allow the abs to pull in a little bit more? The tailbone tucks under. Did you see the difference? So from here, I'd like you to pull the belly in, tuck the tail under. All right, so the lower spine gets a little bit flatter, not completely flat, but it gives you that sense of being able to engage your abs a little bit more. All right, inhale, stand up tall. Exhale, sink a little bit lower. We're starting to work into the thighs, which holds the biggest muscle groups in your body, your legs. So be prepared to feel the heat coming through, but at the same time, protect your lower back by squeezing the abs in, tucking the tail under, making sure that the knees don't go grossly over the toes. A little bit over the toes, I feel, is completely fine. It's okay. But don't come to a point where you're literally rocking your hips forward like this and lifting the heel. Okay? There will be time for that. It's not wrong, I would say, to lift the heels at some point. But if you keep doing it again and again without control, then it might not actually be so good for the knees. Keep moving like this, just exhaling or inhaling as you sink down. Breathe. Nicely done. Now, how low you should go depends on what your legs or your body is capable of. If you feel that there's a sharp pain in your knees, then of course I would say, stop what you're doing. It's kind of like a warning sign that you might be moving a little bit too deep or too much. Last two here. Nicely done. Last one, sinking the bum down and low, bending the knees, reaching hands forward. Hold it there. Shift your weight towards your right foot. I'm your mirror image, remember that. Left toes, tip toes onto the mat. Then stand up with your left knee in front of the hip, hands onto your hips. Okay? Hold it here. If you need support because today you feel that balance is not your strength today, and you might actually feel this way on certain days, you're welcome to pull a chair to the side so that you can actually have one hand holding onto the chair itself. Okay? Then starting to open up the left knee towards the side without turning the hips, come back in again. Keep going like this, all right? Just a couple of times to kind of feel that stretch through the inner left thigh. One more here. Then coming forward, hold it there. Now from here, hands still in your hips, press through the right foot to grow a little taller. So if you're starting to sink down already, please stand and press into all three foot centers. Then just grow through the crown of the head, but the shoulders are away from the ears. Ready? Straighten the leg to any degree, rebend. So my thigh is not dropping down like this. I know it's much easier to do that. I would rather you keep your thigh here and then you straighten to any degree. Even if your knee is bent, it's fine. Then rebend again, okay? So from side profile, straighten to any degree, then rebend. There is again a chance that you might be leaning back in order to create this length through the legs. Instead of leaning back, grow taller, or even try to see whether there's an opportunity to bring your heart and your ribs, your chest forward slightly as you lengthen the legs forward. Keep going like this. You got 2 more here. Nice. Last one. Stay and hold. Breathe well. In 4, grow a little taller. Chest coming forward. 3, breathe. Lifting the right leg away from gravity. Last 2, or your left leg actually. 1 more breath here. Slowly rebend. Step the foot down. Great work. We're going to change to the other side. I'm going to face you again. So chair can come onto your left hand. Then stepping onto your left foot, lift the right kneecap. Okay? Hold it here. If you don't need a chair or any support, hands on your hips, please stand up a little taller. Then right knee is going to open out towards the side. Lost my balance there. Keep going. Breathing well. You got 1 more after this. Opening up through that inner thigh. Hug it back in. Hold it here. Now stand up tall again. Nice and easy. Straighten leg to any degree. Rebend. That's it. So again, there's a tendency to lean back instead of leaning back. Please extend the leg forward. Hold it there. Then rebend. Keep going like this. Extending. Then rebending. Great work. Now you got 3 more here. So close, all right? Thigh doesn't drop down, remember. You extend to any degree. Last 2. 1 and hold, stay there. Breathe. In 4, grow a little taller. 3, lift that right leg a little higher. Last 2. 1 more time. Slowly release. I'm losing my balance all over today, right? I should take a chair with me. Okay, when you're ready, straddle your mat so you're here, yeah? You're going to step on the outside of the mat. I'm going to face you, just so I can give you more cues. Feet wider than the entire width of your mat. Soften the knees pointing out towards the side. Lengthen your spine, lean back. Not this, okay? This is not a squat. I want you to lean back a little bit more, all right? Then sweep your hands forward, sink a little lower. Lengthening up, pushing up through all 3 corners of both feet. Now you might even start to notice that you can see that dark shadow underneath the arc of my foot. That's because my arc is slightly lifted. I'm pressing through the outer part of my feet, and that allows me to make sure my knees are pointing towards my middle toe. Okay, so try that. Press onto the outside part of your feet where your pinky toe is. So your knees are moving outwards towards the middle toe. Same concept. If your stance is very skinny, you realize that this is what you're doing. Your knees are going way past the toes. Step a little wider, okay? Keep going. That's it. The wider the stance is, the more stability you have as well. Then once you've gotten the legs pretty much settled, notice if your upper body, your spine, is nice and long. Instead of arcing or hinging forward like this, don't hinge forward like this, okay? So you're not trying to bow forward. You're trying to just soften your knees to slide the spine down and up, an imaginary wall. That's it. You got 8, I know, right? 7, take it slow. This is a little bit more of leg work. 6, 5, 4, breathe well. 3, nice. Last 2 here. 1 more time. Hold it down. Stay there. In 4, breathe. Belly in. 3, tail tucks under. Last 2. 1 more breath in here. Then slowly rise up. Now step your feet in towards the back of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, press down, chin towards chest. Soften your knees. Allow yourself to roll down bone by bone again, starting from the back of your skull. Plant your palms down. Walk your hands forward into a plank position. Great work. In a plank position, downward facing dog. Nice. Right leg up into 3-legged dog. 3 times, right knee to your nose. Let's crunch it in, shift forward, lengthen the right leg up. So as you move forward, I want the shoulders to move over your palms. Last one here. Right leg forward, hold it there. If you can, step your foot in between the palms. If you kind of landed behind your palms, just wiggle the right foot forward, or even use your right hand to pull that leg forward. Okay? Now this is a pretty wide stance. So keep it wide, right foot, which is the front foot, 1 step or half a step towards the right. So with a wider base, there is a chance for you to feel a little bit more stability. Okay? Now back knee is nice and strong instead of bending. So lift the back knee off the mat, hold it here. Come onto your fingertips, lifting your ribs off the thigh instead of trying to sink into this. So everything is lifted, you're using your muscles instead of just slumping down towards the earth. Okay? One more breath in here. Friends with very bad left knee, all right? You might want to take a towel, pat it underneath your left knee, then land the left knee down, everyone. So this is a wide stance. Notice that my left kneecap is behind the hips. My left kneecap is not here. So this is a very short stance. If you are here, I want you to wiggle the right foot forward even more, okay? So you're kind of sinking down, but also forward. Now, I know I'm cueing the word sinking down, okay, which gives you the ability to go a little bit deeper. But at the same time, please hug your inner thighs towards each other so you feel that sense of integration. Friends who are pretty familiar with body awareness, you would know what this actually means, all right? If not, try this. Left butt cheek here, squeeze it a little bit more. Right butt cheek, maybe activate a little bit more. It's hard to squeeze at this point of time. Then just allowing the inner thighs to kind of move towards each other, find the integration. All right? Hands onto your kneecaps, rise up, hold it here. Feel the integration again. Breathe well. Nice and easy breath here. Sweep both arms up if available. If you cannot, keep your hands on your knee. Right hand grabbing onto left wrist. Lengthen up first without bloating too much of the ribs, then side bending towards the right. That's it. Now, there's a tendency right now, instead of collapsing the left shoulder, you might be pulling the left shoulder back to look up towards the ceiling. Try to look forward, then side bend instead. So you feel more in the left rib cage. Pulling left arm all the way towards the right side. One more breath in here. Listen very carefully. Plant both palms on the inside of your right foot. So gradually have your hands coming down. Now, if you need blocks, blocks are here. That's why I love blocks. Because if your hands coming down makes you feel like it's very uncomfortable, with the height of your blocks, you can always feel that this is actually much more achievable. Okay? Now listen, left toes, the one that I'm tapping. You're going to turn it backwards to the outside of the mat. Then you walk your hands or your blocks towards the left side of the mat. Okay? Now from here, I would like you to straighten the right leg. Wiggle it maybe away from you. Plant the right heel down. Okay? Hold it here. Left knee underneath the left hip. Then lengthen your spine up. Extend your arms parallel to the ground. Hold it. Breathe. Fingers pointing in either direction of your mat, top and back. Then take a breath in here. Arms up. As you exhale, right hand down the side of your right thigh, reaching left fingers to the top of your mat. So remember where the top of your mat is. Right leg is super straight, right heel is down. You are grounding through the outside of your right foot. Breathe well. So once more, opening up the left side of the body. Take a breath in here. Then as you exhale, plant your palms down onto the mat, towards the back of the mat. Okay, stay here, breathe well. Now listen very carefully. We're coming into a supported side plank. So left palm down, right fingers reaches up. Stay here. Hold it here. If you feel like you can actually do a lot more than this, all right, you feel really strong today, then please lift your right foot off the mat. So right leg is parallel to the ground. Now starting to reach your right fingers towards the back of the mat. Opening up the heart, we are not collapsing the right shoulder down, I hope. All right. Find that extension through your right fingertips and left toe tips. Friends who are feeling a bit tired today, please plant the right foot down. Just stay there. Okay. Everyone, 5 times, side crunch, right elbow, right knee, crunching in. Touching or not, I leave it up to you. So if your foot is on the ground, you can do exactly the same thing. Halfway in, then extension. Okay. Keep going. You got 3 more here. Extension, Last 2. Extension. Last 1. Extension. Hold it there for 4, for 3, for 2. One more time. Plant the right foot down. Lift the entire body up again. Hold it there. Then right palm down, left fingers towards the top of the mat. Breathe. Take a moment to feel into the side body. Take a breath in through your nose to reach left fingers more towards the top of the mat. Then as you exhale, windmill hands down to the back of the mat. Step back into a plank position. That's it. Now stay in a plank position, downward facing dog. We're going to repeat exactly the same thing. If you use your blocks, notice that the blocks is already on the right side of your right at this point of time. You can shift the block up towards the top of the mat in case you need them, all right? Left leg floats up. Left knee in towards your nose, 3. Last 2 here, reaching left leg up. That's it. Last 1. Knee in towards the nose. Step your foot in between the palms. Come out onto your fingertips. Again, if you step your left foot way back, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle the left foot, then come into a wider stance. Left foot, 1 inch towards the left, maybe. All right. Right knee is fairly active, so right knee is still off the mat. Stacking the right heel over the right ball of the foot. Notice if you're dumping your ribs onto your thighs. Keep it slightly lifted. So you're using your core. One more breath in here. Then slowly drop the right knee down. That's it. If you need to pad up the right kneecap, go ahead to do so. Okay. Now weight is over the left foot. Integrate by hugging the inner thighs in towards each other. Squeezing the right butt cheek maybe. Hold it here. Breathe well. Now slowly hands onto your kneecap. Rise up. That's it. Now friends, again, if you feel that you are putting a lot of weight in the front of your knee, you might even want to maybe, okay, use the blocks at level 3. It might actually serve you a little bit of a, I would say, support to kind of open up through the chest. Because sometimes if your hands are on your knees, you have a tendency to just rely on just slumping down, okay? Then when you're ready, arms up. This is optional, okay? Left hand grabbing onto right wrist, side bending to the left. That's it. So many things going on here, okay? You're opening up the side of your right rib cage. You're not collapsing your chest, or you're not opening your chest up towards the sky. You are just side bending. You're hugging your inner thighs towards each other to find integration. You're pressing into the left big toe. You're feeling that motion of being able to support yourself in this not very, I would say, supportive position because you're side bending. Now listen carefully. As you breathe in, reach arms up, plant palms down on the inside of the left foot. So you can take your blocks along with you at level 2, which is what I'm doing, or palms firmly onto the mat. Shift the weight forward. Now, right toes, turn it backwards on the outside, facing towards, this time, going towards your right side. We're facing in the same direction. Walk your blocks. Now, straighten the left leg, plant the outside edge of your left foot down, then lengthen your body up, extend the arms parallel to the ground. Inhale, reach up, exhale, left palm down, right fingers reaching to the back of the mat. Yes, we know where's the back of the mat, yeah? Hold it there. So reaching towards that left foot. The left leg is straight. We're rooting into the outer left edge of the foot, left foot. Right knee underneath the right hip directly. And we're not sitting the bum back down. Okay, if you're doing this, please lift the bum off the heel. One more breath in here. Plant both palms down on towards the mat to the top. Okay? Now stay here. We're planting the right palm underneath the right shoulder. Left fingers reaches up into a supported side plank. If you're feeling tired, please keep the left foot down, either on the tiptoes or the entire foot plants down. If not, float the left foot up, parallel to the ground, left fingers to the top of the mat. Bicep beside the ear, okay? We're not collapsing the top shoulder down. Peel the left shoulder. Make sure the left shoulder is over the right shoulder instead of collapsing downwards. 5 times, knee and elbow, crunch it in. And just be mindful, you can tap the foot down if you're tired, then just crunch it in only halfway, then reaching out into an extension, okay? Every time you reach out into extension, find that side body strength, length, space as well. 2 more here, and that's it. Now this is your last one, crunching in. Come back into extension first. Plant the left foot firmly down without too much of a momentum. Take your torso up, arms parallel. Left palm down, right fingers to the back of the mat. Last chance, all right? Reaching a little further, feel that waistline on the right side. Then windmill palms down as you exhale, top of the mat. Step back into plank position, downward facing dog. Great work. Hopefully you felt that side stretch today. The emphasis is on the side body because we seldom actually create opportunities, I would say, that just focuses on the side body. One more breath here. Bend knees, look in between palms. I'm going to jump through to a seated. If you don't like this transition, please find your way to a seated. My feet is towards the top of the mat. Oh boy, great work. Okay, get ready, okay? A little bit of ab work. Now lay your spine down firmly onto the mat, hands behind your head, interlaced. So your arms are not there to yank your head forward. Just be mindful of that. Get ready, inhale, then as you exhale, curl yourself up using upper abs. Slowly uncurl. Keep going like this, all right? So lifting back of the skull, neck, upper spine off the mat, then sending it down again. That's it. If you somehow feel that curling up, which is what I'm doing, by lifting one bone at a time, doesn't work for you because it kind of hurts the back of your neck, then maybe it might do you good to just lift the upper spine at the same time in a plank position, just like this. See the difference? So I'm doing a plank position again, lifting everything up. I'm looking up at the ceiling. So the back of my skull and the upper spine lifts at the same time. Curling means you're lifting one bone at a time, like this, curling up. So either one is fine. Find something that actually works for you, okay? Keep going. Breathing well. You got 3 more here. Last 2. Last 1, hold it up. That's it, breathe. Now from here, reach your right hand beside your thigh. Modified version of Pilates 100. Pump the right arm out. Now it's not a big movement like this, it's a really small one. And you're reaching your fingers away from you, okay? Let's go, you go in, 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 in. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In, 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 in. Last 2. Last 1. Hold it there. Change hands. Extend left hand forward. Ready? Let's go. In, 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 in. In, 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 in. Keep going. Last 2. Last 1. Hands behind the head. Melt the spine down bone by bone. Take a rest, hands by the side of your hips. Great work. Now starting to just walk your heels closer towards your bum. Lift your bum off the mat, bone by bone. So I lifted my tailbone first, then my lower back, then my mid back, then my upper back, all right? Just allowing yourself to lift a little higher. Can we start to press onto the inside of the feet so your thighs are coming closer towards each other than away? So I don't want V-shaped knees, all right? I want everything to be more integrated in towards the midline. Maybe lifting the bum, hips higher by squeezing the bum. Every time you squeeze the bum, naturally your pelvic bone lifts a little higher up towards the ceiling. Hold it there. Great work. Now, if there's an opportunity to look at your stance, notice if your knee to your shoulder makes one straight line or maybe a slight back bend, okay? Now, I want you to try and see whether you can come to that straight line at least instead of this. So if you're right here, it's like a U shape. You see my knee, it comes down to my hips, dips down, then it kind of comes to my shoulder. So instead of this, I want it to be a straight line, okay? Hold it there. Then slowly breathe into the spine, settle it down from upper spine, mid spine, lower spine, tailbone. Okay, friends who want to make this a little bit harder for yourself, but this is optional, okay? Use the blocks if you have blocks. If you have Cushions, I don't think it will work because it's a bit too soft. I need something that's more sturdy, all right? Blocks come underneath the feet. Just remember, the blocks cannot be too far away from your butt cheeks, because if it's too far away, it might slide away. So put it close to your bum. Heels underneath your bum, so that you're pressing down through the front part of your feet as well. Okay, so I'm going to slowly lift my tailbone up, bone by bone, just coming up to a higher, I would say, shoulder bridge. Magnetize through the inner thighs, then check whether you can actually start to create that one straight line or a slightly arched spine from the knee all the way towards the shoulders. Breathe well. Okay, feet is hip width apart, thighs are slightly apart, but you're squeezing your glutes. Now we're going to draw the inner thighs towards each other to touch, if you can, all right? So draw them in, then separating them to your usual. No need to overdo the separation, all right? So inner thighs touching, then coming back to neutral. Inner thighs touching, back to neutral. Now, if you're starting to move like this, start to notice how much your glutes is working. Super hard, okay? And if you're down here, you are still working out, but if you have the strength, can I invite you to lift a little higher? For friends who are already trying your best, but you are still in that U shape, it's okay to stay there, all right? I'm here to push you, but not to an extent where you feel like you are just sacrificing some parts of your body in order to create the idealistic shape. Breathe, that's it. Keep moving your thighs towards each other, separating them. You got 4 more here. So find that glute just engaging, then releasing. 3 more here. Thighs together, open up. Last 2, squeezing in. Nice. 1 more time, squeezing inner thighs towards each other, separating. Now melt the spine down, upper spine, mid-spine, lower spine, tailbone. Hug the knees in towards the chest, maybe lifting 1 knee at a time. That's it. Maybe rocking side to side. It's a good idea because it gives you that sense of massaging the 2 lines that runs alongside your spine. 1 more breath here. Then slowly stay in the middle. Friends with blocks, just kick your blocks away to the side, all right, like what I'm doing. Step your feet down, feet mat width apart. Mat width apart means that they are touching the edge of the mat. Open up the arms a little wider for a little bit more stability. Windshield wiper knees, right, left, right, left. So for the final 10 minutes, we're coming into all the stretches that allows you to feel that space in the body. I love to include stretches into every workout because every time you contract the muscles into doing whatever that we did just now, over time they do get a little shorter. So after each workout, it's a good idea to always lengthen the muscles out into that same length, possibly, right? Or even longer. Now, coming back to neutral first, this time round, you're going to step your feet in a little closer. Now, taking your right knee in towards your ribs, hold it here. Now, I want you to plant your right heel onto your left kneecap into a figure of 4. Right fingers push the knee away from you. So you can actually feel the inner thigh, that movement through your psoas, your hip flexor. Now from here, right hand is going to go through the window in between both knees or both thighs, grabbing onto the back of your left thigh. So I had to take out my hairband because it was kind of in the way. If that's how you feel about it, especially for ladies who have your hair tied up, please take away your hair tie, especially if it's giving you a little bit of discomfort in the back of your skull. Just flex the right foot, just hugging that left thigh closer towards your ribs. Breathing well. Nice. Now, if you are feeling a bit more flexible, this is optional. Straighten the left leg up towards the ceiling, flex the foot. Okay? If you're still grabbing onto the back of your thigh and you feel that you have more flexibility, Then reach the hand above the right foot, grab onto your shin or your ankles, or even your toes. Then just allow your leg to come closer towards your ribs. Friends, while grabbing onto your shin, release it, bend the knee. Everyone step the left foot down, keep it at figure of 4. Okay, now I'm going to do something a little different. Typically, from here, I'll drop both knees towards my right. But instead of that, I'm going to drop both knees to my left. So I'm stepping my right foot on the outside of the mat, just like this. So the right foot steps on the outside of the mat on the left. Left knee is pointing to my left. Right knee points up towards the ceiling. So if I've lost you halfway, go back into figure of 4 with right heel on left knee. Then drop both knees to your left. Now you should be able to feel a nice stretch through the outer right thigh. That is your IT bend. Slowly, slowly, take it back up to neutral figure of 4. The normal one, just like this. I didn't shift anything, I just took my knees up. Then from here, step your left foot that's on the ground, the one that I'm wiggling, one step to the left. Okay, so that it touches the edge of the mat. Drop both knees to the right this time. So your right heel now is on your left kneecap to weigh it down. Just stay there. That's it. Lifting left hip slightly, but both shoulder blades are rooted in towards the mat. If right heel, the one that I'm wiggling right now, is uncomfortable to be on your left knee, you can always release it, just like this, okay? If you feel that right knee floating off the mat feels uncomfortable for some reason, you can always place a block underneath to support it. So many options for you to kind of move into. Create that sense of curiosity about your body so that you want to actually try all different permutations out. Then at least you know in the next class what actually works for you. Now friends who have right heel on left knee, unravel that. Step both feet onto the mat, both knees pointing up. Now start to windshield wiper, left, right again. Great work. Then slowly come into stillness, okay? This time, walk your feet in, left thigh coming closer towards your left ribs, hug it in. Then stack your left heel on your right kneecap. Flex the foot if you like to, like this. Then left fingers push the left knee away from you. Be patient with stretches. When I used to work out last time, like when I was working out in a gym, I always forgo all the stretches because I found them boring in that sense. But I regretted that, because if you start to realize that you're getting tighter, a little bit less flexible, then it's a sign that you need to introduce longer stretches into your routine on a daily basis perhaps. Now left hand through the window, hugging onto the back of your right thigh. Again, the next step is optional. You don't really have to take that. It's only for anybody out there who feels like you want a bigger stretch because you're so flexible. If this doesn't work for you, then please straighten the right leg, grabbing on to your right calf, right ankle, or even your foot. Then, if not, just stay here where I am, okay? So you decide what works best for you. It's not about always taking the hardest option so that you feel good. That's actually feeding the ego as well. Just hugging the thigh in a little closer. Friends who are holding on to your right shin with the right leg extended, slowly, with control, re-bend the right knee, and everyone step the right foot down, still keeping that figure of 4. Now, the right foot is towards the middle of the mat, not to the edge of the mat. Middle, okay? Hands open a little wider. We're going to drop both knees to your right. So I'm going to step the left foot onto the ground on the outside. See whether you can actually plant both shoulders in towards the ground. Then you're going to feel this nice, extensive stretch through the outer left thigh. IT bend. That's it. Just a few breaths here to allow that IT band, that connective tissue, to lengthen out a little bit more. Now, still keeping a figure of 4. Come back to that neutral figure of 4 position. Right foot, the one that I'm wiggling right now, is going to step one step to the right, so it's on the edge of the mat. Then drop both knees towards your left. Left heel weighing the right kneecap down or not. I leave it up to you, so you can actually release that left foot. If the left knee is floating off the mat and that really makes you feel uncomfortable, you can always support it with a block, like what I'm doing. Both shoulders melted in towards the earth. Just feel here. So you can literally feel again this side stretch on the right waistline. Taking in one more big belly breath in here. If you have your left heel on your right kneecap, release that first. Then come back up towards the middle, feet mat width apart, windshield wiper, right, left, right, left. Great work, guys. I hope you felt that nice release through your entire body, especially through the lower back. Now hug your knees in, lift the head up, rock forward and back, just a few times. With more momentum, sit all the way up. That's it. Now coming into a cross-legged position, set up nice and tall. If you wish to, you can place a block underneath your bum, or if you want to, fingers grabbing onto the fleshy part of your bum, just peeling the flesh off the sit bones, sitting up nice and tall. Okay, shoulders melting away from the ears. Breathe well here. As you inhale, sweep both arms all the way up. Then as you exhale, cactus the arms. Chest forward, pull the elbows back slightly, lift the chin a little higher. Great work. Now palms facing forward. Then we're going to start to rotate right, left through your heart. Moving through the center of your heart. Then facing forward. Great. 3 breaths, we're done, all right? Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale through your mouth. Last 2 here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale, arms reaching up high. Then as you exhale, settle your hands down onto your thighs. Great work, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on a Sunday. Now it's afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the sessions, and you're welcome to always leave any comments in the Facebook page. And I'll see you again next week, same time at 11 a.m. on a Sunday. Have a great Sunday, everybody. See you soon.